Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trust, the PCE data, and some dividend distributions. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, first thing I want to cover here is the portfolio, so you guys can see that we are actually, excuse me, we're actually green on the day, so that's always a good sign, right? I told you guys likely after what we just saw recently with the huge flash crash we just got, based on the FOMC meeting, that likely that was probably going to be short-lived. Whether the markets actually keep climbing higher or not remains to be seen, but I'm given a pretty high probability here that we're going to continue to climb higher because, again, we're in the middle of bullish seasonality. So nice little green day. Haven't fully recovered yet, but of course there's going to be probably a little bit of choppy waters before Trump gets inaugurated. But I mean, at this point, there's not really much to guess. I mean, everybody kind of already knows what to expect with Trump being in office. So why people are hesitant, I really honestly don't know. Some people are just like that, I guess. Did just want to point this out here. We got another 50 shares of CLSK down there at kind of that roughly $11 range. So a total of 1,500 now at $14.98 per share. We are expecting at some point that CLSK will probably hit somewhere between 25 to 30 bucks. That's kind of the expectation here. So I wanted to show you guys this on the markets. Okay, so the markets, so we had this insane flash crash, right? See this big, nasty, fat stack of red candles right here? I mean, it's kind of hard to see on the 15-minute time frame, but it's there. We pretty much came down to the support and bounced off of it. The thing I want to point out here is that we basically just went back and retested a previous level that we were pretty much already at. So really nothing shocking there. I mean, Wall Street loves to play little games like this. They're probably sitting there laughing their heads off thinking, oh, yeah, we fooled them again. Trust me, guys, this is just how Wall Street operates. They just love making a fool out of people. That's just how it is. If you want to make it long-term in these markets, you got to get that into your head that they love screwing with folks. Okay, they do. Because if they can get you to make the polar opposite move of them making money, they'll do it every single time, right? That's just how they operate. So nice little bounce off this level here. Again, we did get this oversold on the 4-hourly. This seems to be a recurring theme lately. You can see it's happened pretty often here throughout the previous months, but nearly every single time we hit one of these lows of the oversold on the RSI, it has indicated a local bottom. Okay, so you can see we got one here. Most recently, we got one back here in kind of November, post-Trump, right? And then you got the dump right before the Trump pump. So that was also low on the RSI. And then you have this one here in October. What happened? We went up. September, August. Need I say more? Okay, the 4-hourly is pretty indicative of a major local low on the NASDAQ in this case. Okay, so last thing I wanted to show you guys here on this chart is this red candle. Now, I don't really particularly like the way this looks. Okay, this is a very indecisive candle. It's literally exactly in the middle. That concerns me a little bit. Here's what I'll tell you guys. Okay, most people are probably going to be looking at this candle thinking, okay, yikes, this is scary. It's probably just going to dump next week because of the kind of candle it is, especially at the top of a move. Not to mention it is actually a red engulfing candle, which obviously is not a good sign. Here's what I'll say about that, okay? If everybody is bearish on a move, I can say with confidence that the chances are pretty good. Not a guarantee, but the chances are pretty good that Wall Street's probably going to flip the script and be like, oh, just kidding. It's actually a buy the dip, and then they're going to cause the market to go higher. I know, sounds crazy, but again, you guys got to understand the smart money thinks like this, okay? They want people to sell their positions at a loss or at as low of price as possible so they can buy it and then pump the markets back up and make profit, right? Because they understand retail is going to chase that rally, and when they do, that's when they're going to be looking to sell. It's just how these guys operate. I know it sounds cruel, ruthless, all that kind of stuff, but that is unfortunately the nature of the markets. Okay, so Bitcoin, nice little pullback here. It could possibly still go down to 86 to 91,000. It wouldn't shock me. If this is just a temporary pullback and we are to head higher, then maybe we get a pullback in January. If that's not the case and we pull back lower, we could be getting a full-blown rally in January. We'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. either way, I think the markets are going to be bullish going forward into Q1 of next year. Nothing's changed. Okay, I think we're still going to have an all season next year. Bitcoin's probably still going to climb to new highs throughout Q1. The miner is probably going to moonshot. Okay, grayscale is going to moonshot. I have not changed my thesis on any of this. Okay, so let's go over the inflation, and there's a reason why I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so inflation's at 3%. Am I worried about a resurgence of inflation? Not really. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is actually headline inflation. I mean, dude, if it's at 3% and the last time it was at 3% was back here in March of 2021. Do you think I'm worried about it? Not really. I mean, inflation was in February of 2020 before they started doing all the money printing was at 2.2%. We're only 0.8% above that. I mean, really, in truth, listen, when it comes to the Fed, okay, you gotta look at what they do, not what they say. Okay, they're like, oh well, we're not really sure if there's gonna be a resurgence of inflation, man. We don't know. I don't know, dude. Maybe we might have to raise rates or pause rates or something like that. Guys, I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure they're full of crap. Okay, because if they were that serious about pausing rates or hiking rates, they would not have given us a cut on this last FOMC meeting. Okay, I think what's happening is they're probably trying to fool the markets. Talk the markets down. Like I told you guys before, it's a method that the Fed uses. Maybe when they think the markets are too overvalued or the markets are getting too bullish, whether they actually believe inflation is going to resurge or not, I don't think they do, honestly. Now, the dot plot is a different story, but again, that could just be a way of talking down the markets so they don't get too hyped up. So here's the real reason why I think inflation's not going to resurge. And I had a question about this and, the bond yields and all that stuff. Look, I think the bond yields are going to keep dropping, okay? The dollar index is going to drop all that stuff. Once Trump gets in office, his policies will kill that whole idea of, there's going to be inflation in 2025. Yeah, I doubt it. Okay, I just don't think so. But here's the reason why. Okay, so PCE, the Fed, you can see the core PCE is the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. Okay, this is what they like to use. The core PCE and the CPI are both at the same levels they were before the pandemic. Okay, when there was no inflation. Do I think that they're going to stop cutting rates? No. Do I think there's going to be a resurgence of inflation? Absolutely not. If there was a resurgence of inflation or risk of resurgence of inflation, do I think it's going to stick next year? If by some fat chance there was, no, I do not. Because again, Trump's policies are anti-inflationary. If you guys go back and look at his administration, the entire time he was in office, inflation was fully under control. Okay. You don't have to believe me. You can go look for yourself. I just want to point that out. Okay, so now going into the YieldMax ETFs. And again, I know I'm a little bit late on these. It's been a busy week. So I will say that we have, of all of these, we have YieldMax, YMAG, and QDTE. We don't currently have any of the rest of them, but I'm going to point them out anyways. So YMAX, 14 cents. YMAG, 6 cents. Misty, still killing it, man. We probably should have held our shares longer. Whoopsies. 308, $3.08. So Y triple Q, I'm not exactly sure what this one is. So 27.5 cents. AMZ, 86 cents. Apple, 42 cents. AIYY, 87 cents. DSO, 36 cents. Squeeze, 65 cents. And SMCY still killing it at $2.35. So these top two are weeklies. The rest of them are rotating schedules, but they're monthlies. Now QDTE, all three of these, as far as I know, are still weeklies. I'm not sure what happened here, but man, the distribution is just eye-popping this week. I mean, holy crap, dude. I think this is the largest one they've ever paid out ever. It's really huge. So 86 cents per share or 87 cents for this week, for 1 week. Pretty insane, right? For QDTE. Maybe it had something to do with that insane flash crash we just saw. Okay, so XDTE, next one here. This one's also, I believe this one's pretty large too. Yep, 64 cents. This may also be the largest one ever. Yeah, sure looks like it. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so last one here that we're going to cover is RDTE. This is the Russell 2000. 26 cents. So not too shabby, not the highest, but well, I guess maybe it's the lowest so far. Well, whatever the case. I mean, once the Russell pops past the all-time highs and actually starts moving to new all-time highs, I think the premium is probably going to go up for these. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the trusts. I'm going to say the same thing I said before. I think once Bitcoin tops out and we get that all season, a lot of these are probably going to start moonshotting because they have not gone up with Bitcoin, which means that if that's not the reason why they go up, they're probably going to go up for another reason. I've told you guys this countless times. There's usually two reasons why things go up. Either Wall Street starts kicking off the move, or there's some kind of catalyst. Okay. Or I suppose maybe if the Fed cut rates down to zero, minus a pandemic, obviously, assuming it's not a black swan event, then maybe that would cause the the markets to moonshot. That could be the catalyst too. That technically is defined as a catalyst. Okay, so LTCN. We got to close below the EMAs back within the channel. That's not great. But this nice little wick off of the support zone that we saw previously, that does tell me that there is buyers here willing to step in. That's bullish in my opinion. Because we're still inside this channel, I would still say somewhere in the channel could be the buy zone. So 13 going up to 1750. Indicators still look bullish. Everything's good there. 25 to 54. And you guys are probably wondering, 300% gain. You guys are probably wondering why exactly I was talking about PCE and inflation in general over the long term. The reason being is because a lot of people in the markets are worried that inflation might have a resurgence next year as a result of the Fed screwing up and prematurely cutting rates too early. I don't think the Fed made the wrong move. Okay, I really don't. I think that people are doubting the move that the Fed made because they're missing the forest for the trees. Okay, you guys got to remember, a lot of these people are ruled by their emotions. They're not thinking about weeks, months, years out. They're just like, oh crap, well, God, it's December and maybe next month inflation's going to go to 500,000%. I mean, it's ridiculous how these people think, but it's I mean, these people are very emotional in the markets. Make no mistake. Just because they're in here does not mean that they are emotionless people. A lot of these people will screw up. They'll do really stupid stuff or make stupid assumptions that, when they really truly don't understand what they're talking about, make absolutely no sense. Okay. Okay, so BCHG, inverse head and shoulders still at play here. $14 roughly is about the target. We are below the EMAs again. Unfortunately, really it's all just one big fat accumulation zone. Like I told you guys before, it's pretty much just sideways. Okay, that's all this is. It's just sideways. It's not textbook perfect. It's a little confusing for me to look at, but it's mainly just accumulation. Okay, so buy zone down here, 525 to about 575. If you manage to get it, if you already got your bags loaded, you don't care. You're not worried about it. 1250 to 24 here for the targets. Of course, it could go much higher. It could go all the way to 60, which is the all-time highs, and even further beyond that. So about 325% gain. HSEN, so nice little pop on this, and I am aware that the Horizon token went up a lot, and we sold too early. Unfortunately, man, that really sucks. I'm not gonna lie. But here's the thing, though. We made sure we left enough money in crypto that if every single one of our targets get hit, that we're still good to go. Okay, we're gonna make plenty of money. We're not worried about it. We'll make stupid amounts of money, a boatload of cash. Okay. With the money that we still have in there, even with the resources we pulled out, we are not concerned about it. And we can always add more before the bull market's over, assuming it makes sense. There is still time at the right prices, so I'm just gonna say that. Okay, does it suck? Yes. Are we still gonna make a ton of money? Most likely. All right, so HN, we got the close below the bull flag, so this is invalidated as far as I'm concerned. So the structure here is going to be the buy zone, $5. And then the targets could be, you could put it anywhere between 670 to 8, depending on your cost basis, and then going up to roughly about 11 and a quarter to 12 and a quarter. 150% gain. Again, it depends on how much of a profit you're looking to get here. Okay, ETCG, so we unfortunately have cut below the structure. This could be an undercut. I've told you guys about that before. That does happen. The only way we're going to know that for sure is to wait for another weekly candle to pop up and kind of get that read on the charts. We don't have that yet. So anywhere between the EMAs and the white line, I'd say is a good area. So 11 and a quarter to about 13. I'd be looking at this 20 up here as a target. You guys can obviously, if you want to, you can set your sights much higher. I'm just kind of giving you the local level here, about 83% gain. Let's see, ETH. So yeah, nice little pullback here. Again, it's not really based on history. It's not really Ethereum's time to shine yet. Okay, usually that's in Q1 of the post-halving year in January. We're not there yet. We're almost there, but not there yet. So this doesn't really surprise me. Okay, so buy zone here, down here at 24 to, I'd say about the current price, 28.30-ish. Cup and handle target up there at 53 for about 125% move. GBAT. So if you didn't buy down here, and you're like, crap, it's already running. I don't really want to buy up here. Well, you may potentially be getting a second chance here. So I'll say anywhere between 430 to about the EMAs at 730 could be a good buying area because it's kind of sitting on the EMAs. Don't really know if it's actually going to crack it or not. So 1020 to 32 at as the targets up here for a maximum move about 650%. Of course, once it gets past all-time highs, it's probably going to moonshot pretty hard. That's usually what happens. Okay, so EMA is going to be the buy zone here, 60 to about 65. All-time high at 400 for FILG. 540% gain. Right, GLIV sitting perfectly on support. You guys can do what you want to with that. I'm sure a lot of you probably thought like, oh, well, I'm not buying this crap down here. And then it ran and you're like, oh, crap, I wish I bought it. And then all of a sudden it came back down and you're like, oh, man, I don't want to buy that crap again. Well, a lot of people in retail do that. Don't be shocked if you feel that way. We even have some hesitation sometimes when it gets into support. We're like, I don't know, man. We got a lot of it. Should we keep on buying? I don't know. Trust me, we get the same feeling. We just, we choose to act regardless of how we feel. Sometimes it's a good call, sometimes not. Okay, so anyways, you might be getting a second wind here. So 12 to 15 for the buy area. Target all the way up here at 80. There's not really much resistance between the current price and the all-time highs. I mean, I'll just be honest about it. There's like a couple of maybe peaks here, but that's it. It's about 550% gain. G-Link still holding strong. I'd say a pullback into the EMAs could be a good buy area, 70 to 85. And then 220 as obviously the all-time high. Again, 212% gain. So you had a long time to buy back into here. If it gets down to the EMAs, that may be your second chance. GSOL. So it has cracked the support, unfortunately. I'm sure Solana is going to have another run at some point. When exactly it's going to be, I don't know. So anywhere from $3 to $22.80 for a potential buy zone here, and then 72 to 109, maybe even as high as 115 for a target. 9,600%. But I mean, again, looking back in retrospect, I mean, if you guys had bought down here kind of during mid last year, the bear market lows somewhere in there, you would have already gotten your run. You wouldn't be having to look at this and say, oh, well, it's, I don't like the price it's at, or I don't like the stock split. If you guys had bought back here, you would not have needed to worry about that. Okay, so GXLM. Still the same, 36 to about 40 could be a good buy area. Targets, I'd be looking at 74 to 96. You have 53 to about 58 in between there. If you're kind of more of a intraday trader or a swing trader, you don't really care about the big gains. You just want to make small wins. That's fine. 160% gain. Mana. So this one's interesting too. It's kind of sitting right along the EMAs, but below it, I would say maybe anywhere between 10 to about 1450 could be a good buying area on this one. This is also kind of somewhat of a accumulation zone down here in this area. So You could also say somewhere between like $7 to $19 could be a good buy. It's up to you what you decide on that one. So 70 here um, for the all-time highs for about a move of 550 or 585%. Okay, so Zcash, nice big long buying wick down here. Somebody was paying attention. So we're above structure. That's obviously a good sign. So $6 in this case, pretty much the current price is a good opportunity in my opinion. So your levels here 8 up to 950, then you have about 1025, and then you have as high as 1450 to about 1750. I'd be looking maybe somewhere up here. I mean, in crypto, again, to each their own, but realistically, I mean, we would want to make like at least a 3 to a 5x, make it worth our time to have our money sitting there. You know what I'm saying? So 185% gain. All right. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.